Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Moist Boys podcast this week, our special episode. Before we get to that, though, I just wanted to run a quick ad for our sponsor, the Oberon Corporation. They've helped us out quite a bit, and we'd like to return the favor by playing a little bit of something that they've given us. So without further ado, here's the ad that we are going to play for the Oberon Corporation.
When my father began his company in 1973, he believed cornmeal and dog food were more similar than dissimilar. Several lawsuits and a handful of decades later, and we're finally beginning to win back your trust. It's that kind of trust you just can't win overnight. It's something that needs to be earned. We here at the Oberon Corporation believe that we can win back that trust, not only with high-quality goods, but with high-quality values. That's why at the Oberon Corporation, the most important thing is family. When we had to put my father down, we did it in the most humane way we could possibly find. So consider joining the Oberon Corporation. You never know where it might lead you. It could be just the thing you're looking for. You're listening to the Moist Boys Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special bonus episode of the Moist Boys Podcast. 5 episodes in 1 month.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Powering through.
Yeah, we're going to do something a little bit different since this is the 5th episode this month. We're going to do a little kind of a condensed version.
It's condensed because fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, episode 5.
There's not a lot of movie to... I mean, there's plenty of things to go through, but we're not here for that.
Yeah. I'm
We
not here for it
We
right
want
now.
to do the Junerassic Park month and finish it off right, but this movie it's a headache in a box. Is essentially like it's on HBO right now, so if you have HBO, you can watch it. I would not recommend
Just
it.
don't do it though.
Just
Watch the first 30 minutes.
and then turn it off.
Island gets blown up.
All the
roll
dinosaurs are
credits.
dead. Roll credits.
Put it to an end.
Just fucking don't worry about it from there.
Everything you hope it's going to be, it is just a letdown.
Yeah.
There are a
You get to
couple
see an
things.
Ankylosaurus?
Yeah, there are.
He's cool.
He's cool.
There are a couple of things I think it does better than the first Jurassic World, but we can get into that. But first, I want to start off by introducing myself because my name is Josh.
My name is Jonathan.
And I am Josue.
So we
You
want
know who we are at this point.
If you don't, then go back to our old episodes because
This is the bonus episode.
I don't want to say they're good, but they exist.
They're
You can
there.
listen to them.
Talking about this movie.
Yeah.
I want to start off with a little story that of our personal experience with this story. Jonathan.
Oh, I'm going to start off. Okay.
There you go.
So the first time I
Playing
watched
Candy
this
Crush.
movie, just playing Candy Crush on my phone. Don't worry about it. No, just looking at the cast again because I figured I could just read off the entire fucking cast because that's great content.
Hell yeah.
So the first time I watched this movie, I just decided to throw it on, and Bennett was kind of like roaming around the house, and he like would come in and out every once in a while because he's super into dinosaurs, and so there'd be like dinosaurs stuff happening, and he'd be like, "Oh, cool," and then it would get to and then it would get to like the extended haunted mansion portion of the movie, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm out later, Dad. Watch your dumb movie." But the movie comes to a point where they introduce that Dr. Wu has created this new dinosaur, the Indoraptor, and they decide to show it off at this super secret auction for ridiculously rich people who don't want to spend ridiculously rich people money on dinosaurs.
We could pull together some of that money.
Yeah,
Just
like let's go get us an Allosaurus. Like,
Hell yeah.
And so they decide to show off the Indoraptor at this auction, and so they're wheeling it out, and it's just this big monstrous thing, and it cuts between actually showing it, and then cuts to like horrific looks of the audience and just recoiling in horror, and the entire time then this is super dramatic music is playing. And the entire time Bennett has just been sitting on the couch next to me, and as this is all playing out, he's just sitting there just going, "Aww, aww, aww,"
think that's the right response.
That's the accurate response to the Indoraptor.
Clearly, these movies weren't made for us.
Clearly.
No, they were made for babies.
They were made for 2 years old.
baby movies.
Baby movies.
So one of the things, like I said, that this movie did better, and you alluded to it, is that it actually introduces you to the dinosaurs. Like it shows, like there's no pussyfooting around, showing you bits and pieces. Like it introduces the dinosaur, and then they can hide it from you. Like you don't introduce a dinosaur by hiding it mostly off camera.
Is it a dinosaur?
Who knows? We don't.
It's a couple of legs, and like it's literally just arms and legs floating through space.
Fucking Scooby-Doo episode. Just
but I mean, other than that, it's pretty much the same level of like. So this movie was also written by Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly, who wrote the first one.
Was it written by Colin Trevorrow too?
Yeah, he wrote this because he wanted after everybody watched that fucking Zara murder scene. People were like, "Yeah, let's let this guy write another movie." Well, first they wrote a cop dad molests his daughter movie. Then he wrote this movie.
Oh, that's right. Book of Henry. Yeah, that's right.
I still feel like I would need to watch that movie just because of how bonkers it is.
Yep, that's. I'm calling it now. We're doing an episode on Book of Henry.
That and Serenity, I feel like, are two just bonkers balls to the wall garbage movies that we need to not the good Serenity. No, the Matthew McConaughey Anne Hathaway Serenity.
Yeah, that's
a movie
right.
with a twist so stupid. It makes you wonder if you like hit your head and you're now imagining the rest of it.
Is there a gas leak in my house? I know nothing in our house is gas, but is there a gas leak in our house?
So Fallen Kingdom, there is some retconning where you don't like suddenly Owen Grady has been with these dinosaurs since they were born, and he wasn't brought in to train them, as we were kind of led to believe.
Yeah.
We have another child character who has one personality trait that gets us to the end of the movie,
which is that she's a clone.
Yeah. Which
she has clone personality.
So again, in the previous movie, they kind of gently alluded to the fact that these main characters are the villains of the series when they refused to save anybody's lives in the Jurassic World Park. But in this movie, they straight up, no, these are the villains. Like everything that happens because of these characters, but we're still supposed to be rooting for them because they're top billed actors.
To be fair, at least in this one, Chris Pratt is kind of just like, so the island's going to blow up. All of these dinosaurs are going to be on the island when this happens, including Blue. Good.
Problem solved.
Walk the fuck away.
Yeah, that's good. But then he watches that video that they recorded when Blue was a tiny puppy, when he was eating.
When he was literally a puppy.
Literally a puppy. Puppy. She.
And that none of that worked. For it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like as whatever J.A. Bayona could do with this script, he wasn't able to because. So Colin Trevorrow wanted to make all three of these movies, but he thought he was going to be making a Star Wars during this one, so he was like, "I'll just write it," but he's going to come back for the third one.
What a dumbass!
What a dumbass!
So yeah, there's
I'm also the both introductory scenes of like Chris Pratt in both this one and in Jurassic World,
the same scene,
are just so just like. How do we make the audience know that he's a man? Okay, well, in Jurassic World, he lives in a trailer and works on a motorcycle all the time. Cool. Okay, well, how do we remind everybody that he's a man? We just have him building a cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Bare fucking hands, just
this bare
throwing
hands
logs up and with his dick.
So like. For all the people that really loved the will they won't they of Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, well, we got good news for you. We're just going to do the same fucking thing again.
Yep.
Because we don't know how to know how to write screenplays. We just know how to build together stories. There's no characters still. So like there's two types of people in this movie. There's morons and maniacs. Like that's the two character archetypes, because you've got like
you either die a moron or you live long enough to see yourself become a maniac.
Because you've got like Claire's the maniac because after the events of the last movie, now she wants to go back and save them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which immediately thinking of this movie just makes me think of Ian Malcolm's line from The Lost World, like capitalist to environmentalist in just 4 years.
Yeah.
Good segue right there.
That's a good segue.
Because Ian Malcolm is in this movie for about a minute and a half.
Return,
Yeah.
according to the trailer.
Triumphant return of. I imagine that like Jeff Goldblum rolled up in like a limousine and he made them put him into a wheelchair, roll him up onto the Senate set. He did his lines and they rolled him away because he was like, I'll do this movie, but I am not standing up for it.
I will not.
I will
fucking
not.
I will be there
I
for
will
4
not get out
hours.
of my
I'll do
pajamas.
my
I will
lines.
do my
and then
own
leave.
wardrobe as well. Like, those are just his clothes.
Yeah. I don't know. He wasn't dressed like Sonic the Hedgehog, so
That's true. That's true. Or in his Hawaiian shirts.
yeah.
Those are
So, yeah.
the sex and shirts.
Oh, yeah, they are.
If you've seen the trailer for this movie, then
You
you've
have seen the movie.
Ian Malcolm's scene in this movie.
Yeah.
Because
don't see it for Ian Malcolm.
No.
because you've seen it in the trailer.
Also, as a quick aside to this too, so Ian Malcolm is testifying before this committee hearing for the entire runtime of the movie, right? Because it bookends the movie. So I have to assume he is just talking the
Like
entire
3 straight
time.
days of him wearing the same clothes. He's filibustering them moving on.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we get it. We just don't care.
Yeah. One of the other bizarre things. So you have idiots and maniacs. So Bryce Dallas Howard, maniac.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, he's an idiot. Justice Smith, he's kind
Kind of an idiot.
of kind of dumb.
He's kind of dumb, but he's kind of like he's that like people don't know how smart people are character.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's really good with computers, which means he is entirely socially inept.
He does have one good moment where when they get onto the island and he's trying to hack into the bunker thing.
Yeah.
And Ted Levine, who's a maniac in this movie, like calls him sport, and then like the doors start opening. He's like, well, I don't know. What do you think about that, sport? And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool.
yeah.
But then the rest of the movie, he's just screaming uncontrollably.
Yep.
Let's see. So we got
goddamn the levels of convenience for shit that happen in this movie.
Yeah.
Of they take Owen and her name is Zia. They take Owen and Zia, who is the paleontological veterinarian.
Maniac.
Nailed it.
Which admittedly she has never even she didn't work on she worked on the island but never saw a dinosaur. So how is she a veterinarian of dinosaurs?
So this actor was born in 1987. So we'll say her character is the same age.
Sure.
That means during Jurassic World, so she would have been 31 for Fallen Kingdom, right? That's math.
Is that
That's
math?
math.
What
87 to 2018,
Yeah, that's
31 years.
31? Yeah, because that's a year
So
older
that
than
means
me,
she
yeah.
was 28 during the events of Jurassic World. They couldn't have just made her an employee of Jurassic World. Like
No.
they make it seem like no one has ever seen a dinosaur. Like they keep talking about how kids will never see dinosaurs. It's like most children could
at this
have gone
point.
to the Jurassic
Worried
World.
People were bored of dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everybody in this movie was old enough to have worked on the island. So the fact that they didn't know that it was like talking like they'll never know what it was like. It's like it wasn't that long ago. It's
Yeah.
it's like me saying we'll never know what it was like to have a Star Wars film in theaters. It's like, well, it just happened. Like everybody can remember. Everybody that can remember things on the planet Earth remember when those movies were out and when dinosaurs walked on the Earth.
Yeah. And then having the moment where they're trudging through town on the island in their Jeep and they're like, okay, everybody hop out, stretch your legs. And then because there's a dinosaur walking by, everybody be as vulnerable a position as possible. Right. It's a Brachiosaurus. We're fine.
And then they get back in the truck and drive away.
And then having her reaction to seeing just being like, I never thought I'd see one.
Like-
wait, what the fuck were you? They didn't have.
There were no
there's
YouTube videos of dinosaurs from Jurassic World.
Yeah,
Because there's again to play the role of like, well, hold on, let's give it a chance.
Yeah.
Like there is that aspect of like I have not been to Disneyland. I am a 30-year-old man and I have never been, but you have been since you were every year since you were like.
But then
There's that aspect of like I have never seen one in person because I could never afford to go. I was never going to go.
But if my dream was to be like a mascot surgeon, I wouldn't go. I always wanted to do surgery on Goofy, but I never even got to see a Goofy. It's like, well, then have your parents take you to Disneyland.
How did you get that?
How did you get that job then? How are you telling people that's your job title?
Telling people you're.
She's just telling, but then she also does know how to do it.
But then she does know how to do it. So she clearly had to have been an employee at Jurassic World.
Like, that's the easiest fix to this.
Because no other place are there dinosaurs that she would have not been doing veterinary stuff on for her to have that job title.
Like, there's
not disagreeing.
It just makes no sense.
Let's see. You've got Rafe Spall, who's a maniac, and an idiot. Him and James Cromwell play maniacal morons in this movie.
James Cromwell, who can't decide if he's British or not.
Rafe Spall. They
decide if he's British.
That's
did these people do a critical role on their accents for this movie? And Rafe Spall and James Cromwell both rolled snake eyes because like it doesn't like they both rolled ones and they're like, fuck, I got to do an accent that can like it doesn't make sense why this 99% of times in movies when someone is doing an accent they do not need to be doing an accent like their accent they're doing like almost never does where they come from as a character affect the story at all.
No.
Like,
if you hire a British person, let them be British.
Especially like 100% in action, sci-fi, big blockbuster movies. It doesn't like these aren't people. They're like archetypes, characters. Like their backstory doesn't affect it at all. So like where they come from does not matter. And yet they still try to force these poor actors to do accents they cannot do.
Yeah.
Including Maisie Lockwood, who is a maniac because like her introduction. Well, first she's like a silhouette shadow thing that like is zipping around the big giant castle in Northern California. Apparently they just build Gothic castles in Northern California.
But like Gothic castle. That is what I said.
Her introduction of this movie is like jumping out at this poor old lady, Geraldine Chaplin, who plays her caretaker, I guess.
Yeah.
But like she like jumps out and is screaming at her, and apparently she went to the Bella Thorne School of British Accents because I don't know where she's from because since she's underage, no one has done the work of finding out, which I'm okay with.
The Camilla Bell School of
British
Accents.
There it is.
Call back.
One of those Bella. One of those Bellas. You have Toby Jones kind of doing a funny role, but he's a maniac. Kind of funny. He's a maniac. B.D. Wong comes back as a maniac. The Geraldine Chaplin caretaker lady isn't anything at all.
Nothing.
She is nothing.
She's
a furrowed brow.
She is She's a piece of toast that you put in the toaster and turn it all the way down and then just
it's ready.
It's ready.
Warmed over white bread pops out.
Squishy.
So the timeline of this Ben Lockwood, John Hammond thing.
Jesus Christ.
This little girl, I can't remember if they say she's 10 years old, but she's 10 years old.
She was 10 years old in like 1970 based on that picture.
Yeah.
There's a 40-year gap where this girl is like, we learn like, the hell? Something's happening outside.
There's a murderer outside.
We learn like they invent human cloning. John Hammond and Ben Lockwood have this big falling out. This little girl is cloned and created. Ben Lockwood doesn't know that there's a genetic, like, when was like, because they kind of imply that John Hammond and Lockwood fall out because of the human cloning.
His daughter, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But how? Like, because obviously it was only done within the last 10 years. Unless did he make it so she never, like, she got to
She does
10
not
and then
age.
stopped aging, maybe?
Or they tried to clone her and made a really fucked up one.
Like,
Maybe that'll come back to haunt us in the
Are there,
inevitable third
A
movie.
dozen
Is it
mutated
Venture
Maisies
Brothers,
in the...
like there's a vat of her just every time one dies and gets chewed up
just
by
pull
a
out the other one.
dinosaur.
Some of them
Go
have
get the new
raptor
one.
claws. Some of them have dinosaur heads. Now, that would be cool.
Don't
give Colin Trevorrow any ideas.
But like so much of this movie, like the timeline, like the way everything works, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I do like the super janky painting of John Hammond in like the
That
at
we're
the
all
beginning.
supposed to blow our load over.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there he is.
Oh, John Hammond. Hooray.
He's my
Okay, sorry. So going back to the convenient shit that just happens in this movie too. So they're in the woods. They ambush Blue. Blue gets shot. And then they trank Owen as the island is blowing up. He wills the trank out of his system so that he can roll away from the lava before it touches him.
It gets like he's dead. Like this is the first of many times where Chris Pratt is dead.
Yeah.
Like, he keeps
first
rolling
20
on.
minutes of
He's
the movie.
inches
He should've
away
died.
from the lava.
Like lava is like thousands of degrees. Like the air is literally cooking.
Yeah.
He's
But he's fine.
crispy. Like
He's fine. And then after that, he rolls behind a log
Man.
where he just uses his manpower to just like, just do it. The trank out of his system completely so that he can just Captain America run out of the forest directly where Claire and Justice Smith's Franklin are coming up out of a hatch in the ground because they just ran away from the baryonyx.
which. So they spend. It's intimated that they're spending like several minutes, probably like 15 to 20 minutes, trying to open the door. When they know that there's a hatch outside right behind them, like she doesn't look around and find it. She's just like, "We'll go up the hatch."
Yeah.
Like, well, why are you trying to open the doors then? Because this movie has, like, everything in this movie is because the movie has to happen.
Yeah. So then, so they come out of the hatch. They meet up with him running out of the woods. And then they all run down the hill through the stampede of random dinosaurs, where they just happen upon an old gyrosphere that the two of them can hop into. And then it starts rolling down the hill. Chris Pratt runs after it. And then the whole volcano erupts and the pyroclastic flow is coming down the island, envelops him.
This is the second time he died, because if you can't inhale this much ash and survive,
And be fine. Not to mention, like,
He's a
just
clone.
that ash itself is still like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
So the gyrosphere goes off 100-foot cliff, which then he's also apparently swan dives off of after them, hits the water and is completely fine. Yeah. And then like pulls them out of after he gets
A gun
hit by
from-
something because he's trying to shoot through the gyrosphere. When he gets hit,
where did this gun come from?
doesn't matter. Shut the fuck up.
His dick.
That's actually, he pulled his dick off.
Yeah.
John Wick style, turned it into a gun.
So yeah, then he's like trying to bust him out. He gets hit by like a piece of molten rock that comes through the water, takes him out of the equation for a few seconds so that he has now just let them drown in the thing. And then uses pulls out his Gerber knife and then opens up the gyrosphere. And then they all are immediately on not that cliffside, but a beach.
They're on a beach. So, like, Chris Pratt, the only thing I will give this scene is that it is almost a cool single shot or single take.
Yeah, it kind of
Maybe-
feels that like
Because you don't really realize it at the time, but, like, it's like one long unbroken thing. So it's almost cool, but then, like, yeah, Chris Pratt dying so many times.
In the
but then
span
just
of
coming
2
back to
minutes.
life.
he's a clone.
He had an extra guy. It was fine.
And then they did wash up on the shore next to where they need to be because they immediately see. Also, if you're gonna, what is it? The
The baryonyx.
Baryonic.
Put that thing. Don't. They're just like swinging it around all these people that's trying to eat people. They don't put it in a cage or anything.
No, they just throw it in a sex swing, rope that up to a helicopter, and just take it out to a boat.
That's good.
And then he runs in. That's where we run into Ted Levine, who is, because he's a maniac, is collecting all of these teeth from the dinosaurs.
That I kind of like. I like that.
Ted Levine is good in this movie. He only has like 2.5 scenes, but he
until
he doesn't give a fuck about anything that's happening in this. Like the actor and the character don't give a fuck about this movie.
The moment,
that's why it works.
And I'm like, yeah, me neither.
Ted Levine. The moment that he becomes a moron, though, is at the mansion when there's dinosaurs running out of the mansion. People are running and screaming in terror, and he's outside, and he's like, I need to go get my bonus. Where's my bonus?
He goes, my bonus! My bonus!
Yeah. And then climbs in the cage.
Gets hard and sees, there's a tooth.
There's a tooth I haven't got yet. And so...
And then this Indoraptor that does I'm surprised they didn't do the like Warner Brothers Hanna-Barbera cartoon when this thing it's winks at the camera. Flicking its tail around.
Hey guys.
And then just destroys Ted Levine.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool.
Right. Which was a fitting end to I feel like he has a complete arc.
Yeah. He was if he had been in more of this, if he had been the main character, like as a bad guy who's the main character who gets his comeuppance, that would have been a movie.
Yeah. Him just being this movie's iteration of Muldoon / Roland Tembo / nobody else. Hoskins, I guess.
Sam Neill, I guess, kind of fills that in the third one because he's kind of like the rough and tumble.
Yeah.
What was that intentional? Was he supposed to be like the evil Muldoon? Is that
probably?
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah. I mean, they've done it in literally every single one of these movies. So
I don't feel like there's ever been one that's been like this guy reads straight up evil.
You find out retroactively that Hoskins was bad because he created they're creating the evil dinosaur, but but he's just he's a Warner Brothers cartoon from beginning to end, and that's why he works because you gotta don't be so so much of this movie is so super serious, and they're just hammering how serious everything is.
Yeah, there are a couple of moments where you really feel like the studio actually let J.A. Bayona actually do his thing.
I'm pretty sure the Indoraptor climbing up onto the roof and then coming down into the room was all him.
Yeah,
because it actually
terrifying.
It actually is
effective.
A scene. It's a scene in a movie.
And then them being in the little estuaries, with the lights going out and then the Indoraptor sneaking around and the lights coming on and them being oh, it can definitely see where they are, but they can't see out until it's right up on them. That's effective. If the movie has leaned into that,
that's what I was hoping for too. When I first heard he was in directing, and I heard I'd been spoiled, so the trailer is actually just like the first 20 minutes of the movie. The movie is not about saving the dinosaurs from I heard oh, this could be really exciting. I'd love to see taking it back to that horror thriller kind of roots of it, but really leaning into that these are fucking scary. These are monsters.
But what they didn't say was, oh, that's only the first 20 minutes of the movie. The rest of the movie is a dinosaur auction scene that goes on for a long time. And then one of the other big thud scenes is the way, sure, have a little clone girl in your movie. Okay.
Whatever.
The way you reveal it is not, what was Rafe Spall runs into Claire and the little girl and Owen Eastwood, Grady.
It's just nailed it.
Oh,
oh, you think you're going to protect her, huh? Well, did you know she's a clone? And I'm what? Oh, you like her, huh? But she's a clone, so now you're going to hate her. It's
I'm not a fucking racist piece of shit, so I get no.
Did you know she's black?
It's what, other than revealing to the audience how the movie is going to end, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Anything at all.
Is there poison in this one?
And I mean, there's a whole lot of hints I feel that are saying like she's gonna be a clone. She's gonna be. If you've been paying attention, it's very likely she's gonna be a clone.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they need like a reveal,
Like someone to just stand there
literally
and
yelling it.
but it feels kind of like maybe that didn't test well with audiences, and then people are like, "What was she?"
Whoa.
So
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, let fucking edit in a
Because
scene of just like
that scene was
Clones!
that scene was in the trailers, but it was them running away from two guys with guns, not them standing there talking to Rafe Spall.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're like, well, where do we put this shitty dialogue in? They're like, we'll just cut it in right there.
Gotta have it. You need to put this in.
Yeah.
One of my biggest problems with the ending of this movie too is that so there's a gas leak in the containment area, so all the dinosaurs are gonna die.
Good.
Whatever.
Fine.
That's fine.
To happen.
We got the embryos. We can make more if we find something, but we don't need to.
They're unnatural.
Yeah. And then Claire is like,
They're-
we gotta let them out of the cages. We gotta save them, and immediately just starts individually opening every single one of those containment cells. With the sole purpose of then opening the main gate so they can all leave and just wreak havoc on whatever part of California this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
The fact that she opens the T-Rex cage, the raptor cage, I think there's another Allosaurus there because one gets auctioned off and you see like 4 dinosaurs getting taken down the road.
Like two Allosaurs.
I think there were 2
It's
that they
like-
or no, it's the baryonyx maybe that they leave in the containment thing. So that one's in there, and so just the Carnotaurus is in there. So she's releasing all of these large predators. She is knowingly going to release these large apex predators onto the world before she chickens out when they're all like clamoring against the gate. When you could have just released all of the herbivores. Whatever, that's still shitty, but like they're gonna wreak havoc on the ecosystem around, but they're not gonna just be murdering people. Like every death after this point is on her. So you just release the herbivores, you let them outside. Okay, fine. You get like people to come in, trank them, and then find ways to contain them that you can set up an actual preserve for them to be at.
Perhaps on some kind of island somewhere.
Perhaps on some kind of island somewhere. You don't have to release everything. It's clear that she is individually doing the buttons. So why?
They are all clones.
They're alive, just like a clone girl.
Just like Clone Girl.
Yeah, I think there's one more thing that bugged me about this movie is when
Just one.
there's a lot more things that bug me. Like
yeah.
if you break an iPad, then the app that it's running just stops working, even though it's connected to the network. Sure, movie, whatever. But when Rafe Spall dies, he's in the middle of we've seen this parking lot. It's like a big open parking area.
Yeah.
He is standing in the parking area. He goes to pick up the Indominus Rex tooth,
Little bone piece thing.
and the T-Rex just comes out of. I mean, it comes from out of frame, so it was invisible apparently until it's very
Yeah.
It just comes out of frame and picks him up, and it's like, where did it come from?
Motherfucker didn't see it coming at him?
Like, didn't
Because
hear
it
it.
is in a full like running stride when it picks him up too.
Yeah, it's like, where was it? Like, he wasn't. Yeah, he was out in the middle. He was in the middle of a parking lot, and this thing comes out of nowhere, and he
tiptoed.
That's when
Through the tulips.
T-Rex went into stealth mode. And, did
Use
some
a portal gun.
solid snake. So yeah.
So just in general, fuck this movie.
I know that we're not going to get a good sequel to Jurassic Park at this point because Colin Trevorrow is coming back to do the next one.
Yeah.
The Netflix show could always surprise us. Like,
That-
just throwing it out there. Like,
Yeah. I'm open-minded enough to let myself be surprised if that turns out to be good.
I'll give it a shot. You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see this third fucking movie. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't.
If you're gonna get, it's the only they got the market cornered on dinosaurs on the big screen.
Yeah.
I mean, I went and saw all the Twilight movies, so
I will. The other thing I'll say about this is that the dinosaurs do look a lot better in this than they did in Jurassic World.
Yeah, a lot
they do,
better.
So. Yeah.
Because they use an animatronic blue during the scenes when she's tied down.
Yeah, it's the real thing. It's not cartoon on the table.
wiggling it there.
wiggling little booties. And also, who just stores a possibly still tranked out T-Rex in just a semi trailer with like one tie down and just like, yeah, that's good.
Just a twist tie. Just like a loaf of bread.
We wrapped it in CD packaging. We thought that would be enough.
That'd be fine. But like, Jesus God, you gave it so much room to move around and like actually get up from. Like, why?
Yeah. So yeah, don't watch this. I mean, it's probably too late because it's already on for free
Watch
on
the trailer
on Hulu. Yeah,
Just watch the
watch
trailer.
the trailer. That's the movie.
That's the movie.
That's the good part of the movie.
And then you got
like,
it.
You just go to YouTube, find that like 5-minute cut together of all the trailers, and you see every story beat you need.
Yeah.
And then we just filled you in on the rest.
A really good movie. Just imagine one.
Just close your eyes real tight. Just clench your whole body real tight. And just imagine a real good movie.
Then it'll exist.
And then
Sometimes
it'll
you can make
exist.
a movie appear from nowhere, from your imagination. And sometimes we get to watch that movie.
Sometimes we get to watch that movie.
So thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
everybody for listening to this Moist Boys, this special bonus episode.
This Moist Boys rant.
This is more rant than movie breakdown. So, but Junerassic Park is officially over. Starting next week, we will have something new and fun for you guys. Go ahead and find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. At this point, I don't think there's any big things left for podcasts that we have not infiltrated in one way or another. You can also find us on YouTube, Moist Boys Podcast. We should pop up somewhere on there. Maybe by the time you're listening to this, we have
Overtaken the algorithm and are no longer the third option when you
third
scroll
option
down.
is just like a random video, but not our actual channel.
Yeah.
And you can find us on Twitter at Moist Boys Pod. Sometimes I put stuff on there. You can also contact us, moistboyspodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you like what we do here and you want to see maybe 2 or 3 times a week, maybe once if we can make some money off of this, we can start doing some more stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that we kind of have plans, but it's hard to come up with time when you're trying to live your life and also do other stuff.
Pay them bills.
Yeah, pay them bills.
Pay
So
them bills.
if you kind of like what you hear and you want to maybe
support
get some
us.
more of that, you can go to patreon.com/moistboyspodcast. We have a bunch of different tiers. Some more serious than others. Some I just put on there because I was like, you know what? Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see if we got that one person that's like, you know what? I got nothing better to do this month. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you everybody for celebrating Junerassic Park month with us. And we will see you next week.